Hey guys, Josh here. I just wanted to walk through a quick setup on getting the FuriBee Q95 to work. I got the bind and fly version with the FrSky receiver, and even though I bound it right up, it still wasn't working. So you actually have to go through Betaflight and set everything up. So I was going to walk through that real quick. So I've already got the flight controller connected. I'm just going to run up here to connect. And there you can see everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. The first thing we want to do though is go to the ports tab and set UART 3 to serial RX, and then we can go ahead and save and reboot that. Alright, I'm going to reconnect now. Make sure that's there. And now under configuration, a couple things we want to change here actually. Under ESC motor features, I'm going to change that to D-Shot 600. And then scrolling down, I'm going to change PPMRX input for the receiver to serial-based receiver, and changing this to S-Bus. So that's what we need to get the receiver input actually working. I'm going to go down here and just look through everything else. I don't really need any of this other stuff really, and everything else looks okay. So save and reboot. Now again, I've already have my receiver bound, so when I connect here, now we've got everything kind of on there. We should be able to see on the receiver tab. There we go. So now we actually have some stuff going on. I need to change my channel mapping order, TAER, save. There we go. That should fix some of that. Looking a little better. I like having a little bit of dead band. I mean, maybe not everyone wants that, but that's how I like to have it. So as you can see, everything now is nice and clean where it needs to be. Now there is actually an alternate firmware for the receiver that comes with this. If you get the FrSky version, you have to actually solder on a connector and flash the receiver with that firmware. But if you do that, you can actually get RSSI through channel 16 on the receiver, which in here is going to be auxiliary 14. I don't have that set up yet, but I plan on doing it, so I'm going to go ahead and set that channel and save. So just to double check, there's my throttle. Yaw looks good, pitch looks good, and roll looks good. So I'm just going to set up my flight modes. Of course, I've got that on I've got my arm on a switch here, which should be aux4, I think. Yeah. So drag that up there. There's my arming. My default is angle, but we're going to put this on auxiliary 1 down here. And then for no real reason, but I do usually set up horizon mode. Sometimes I'll do this just when I first take a craft out, just to check my rates. I'll do some flips and stuff, line of sight, and just kind of play around with it for a while. So then of course I don't want that, but where's my air mode? There's air mode. There. So now I've got angle by default, then to horizon with air mode, and then finally acro mode with air mode on. Go ahead and save that. The other thing I do like to do though is put on a beeper, and I think I've got that on aux2. Yeah. Comes in quite handy when you're looking for stuff. As far as my PIDs, I left them at default last time, but I did raise my rates up just a little bit. I'll probably do this even more. But for right now, I'm just going to bring these up into kind of around in here for now until I get more used to this aircraft. Everything else besides that is usually pretty good. I do like a little bit of expo. But that should be enough to get you started and in the air. At this point, you've got the receiver, you got everything going on there. You can configure the OSD, but of course by default this aircraft, when you get it, the camera and transmitter are not connected through the OSD and can't be unless you actually either replace the camera and transmitter or do some surgery to that camera and potentially break it. So you want to be careful with that, either replacing it, like I said, and that's probably the simpler route to go. I am going to be replacing mine with this cool little micro DVR camera that I found, and I'll be covering that in a different video. But right now the OSD is at least enabled, and from that, this is ready to fly. So if you have any other questions or anything, let me know. You may have noticed I did actually upgrade this. This is running the latest version of Betaflight. When I got it, it was running 3.1.7. I was going to make that part of this video, but I actually had a lot of trouble doing the upgrade. The boot pins on this didn't want to short for me, and it just caused all kinds of headaches, and then I had driver issues and everything else. So it wouldn't have been a very informative video just because it was kind of a mess and I was swearing a lot. So not part of my video, but it is, if you go to do the firmware flashing, let me disconnect here. This is an omnibus, is the target you want to choose. I did choose the latest one. Full chip erase did work because it's an F3, so that was okay. I didn't do a manual baud rate, but I did have to short the pins and just do flash on connect. It just took me a long time to get it right. So that's all I've got for now. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments and I'll see if I can help you out. Otherwise, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and best of luck.